Hey everyone, it's Fiona. Today I want to talk about a topic that interests me very much, and it definitely used to when I just got into astrology many years ago. And this is about who you attract in the natal charts. Can you see it? And if so, how? Where? Because well, every article you look at things about partnerships, about relationships, it will usually point to your pattern of what is your perfect partner. You know, the seventh house, fifth house, eighth house. But obviously, there was a little question always nagging at me in the back of my head after reading all of this. Like, but this is my perfect partner. Am I the perfect partner for my perfect partner? You know? And so I wondering, like, can you see who you attract? Can you see the people who consider you their favorite their best partner? And I have found that there are a few clues in the natal charts, and I have to thank the user Lotus White for this on the Lindaland message boards. Many years ago, I was a member there. I talked a lot, but I couldn't find things about who you attract. There was like a thread or two about it, but not really with a lot of like decisive answers and conclusive answers for me. And then there was this user Lotus White. I don't know if she's still active on this forum. I haven't seen her around. A few times that I do check in on the message boards. But she had threads on exactly this topic, and they were so good and so detailed and just very long. But if you like a very big read, if you like things that really go into detail, really just get carried away. If you like that, then I think you would like this. I would say at least give it a read, and I will link the link below for those of you who want it. But here are things that, combined with her finds, but also with the things that I found in all these years and all the notes that I made. And here are a few clues, without further ado, a few clues of how you can see in your natal chart who you attract. Well, the first one is Venus, number one. Venus is, of course, the planet of beauty. It's about pleasure, love, about things that you find beautiful. And you have Mars is about what you find attractive and who you will go after, the person that you will chase, the person that you will make the first move on. If you are a person that makes the first move. But Venus is more about attracting. Venus is a softer planet. It's feminine. It's more gentle. It likes pleasure. It likes to just draw people in really nice and slow, you know. And so Venus can definitely give you a good clue on who you attract. I would say not just the sign that your Venus is in, of course also the house, and especially look for hard aspects to your Venus. This is something that I actually briefly talked about in my first video about why you may not feel like your sun or your moon sign. Hard aspects to your Venus, it pretty much goes like for that too. So if you have your Venus in hard aspect to, for instance, Saturn, so the conjunction or the opposition or the square, so you only choose one planet that you really relate to. You can't really figure out how to reconcile both, and you just don't like one of those planets, either Venus or Saturn. You will very likely be attracting the negative expression of that planet on the outside, by people on the outside, by situations. So for instance, if you side more with Saturn in this aspect, you would probably attract a lot of Venus from the outside. And so sorry guys, you might find that a lot of people around you find them so vain and just obsessed with looks and obsessed with relationships. Like everything is about dating and love, relationships, everything. Just people just will never give you a break or anything. It is like they will not shut up about it, and they can be like very big on money, and just very it's shallow. Like if you think that they only really care about looks, about appearance, about status, about who looks good, what looks good, you know. Or you might find that a lot of people are just too friendly for you, and like too friendly. How can you be too friendly? Well, if you may experience just genuine conversation or genuine niceness as some just a little annoying, and just like you may just really want to just be in your own little world, or just you just don't really like to really make small talk and just not really talk and relate without any kind of purpose, and just to fill time, to fill spaces. And you might just think that someone is just always there and just always like, hey everyone, and just walking in and out, and just you may just at some point get a little frustrated with them. And you might find that people are just so sentimental. Of course, it's also a trait of the moon, a negative trait, but it could be with Venus too, about overly gooey and expressive about everything, and like everyone just loves something, and like, oh, thank you for that, I love you guys so much, thank you, and just this bubbling over with all this overwhelming love and feelings for people. And you may just not want that, or at least not from a lot of people that do that. So that, for instance, could happen if in the Venus Saturn heart aspect you side with Saturn and you meet Venus. But if it's the reverse, you side with Venus and you will meet Saturn, things will happen like every partner or potential partner seems to just like want to be your parent more than really be a partner. Or like they just think that they can teach you everything they know, and like, oh yeah, I'll show you this is how it's supposed to do, you know, I know everything, I got all the answers. That is a bit of a Jupiter trait too. So or very negative Sagittarius. Please remember that I just said a very negative expression of Sagittarius, so not all Sagittarius at all. This is a very negative expression of it that not all Sagittarius will ever express. Anyway, same goes for Capricorn, the ruler of Saturn that I'm talking about, or of course Libra and Taurus, the ruler of Venus that I just talked about. These are just the negative expressions that you are more likely to meet on the outside if you don't really own each of your planets, especially if this is with a hard aspect to your Venus. And so Saturn, they want to be a parent, they want to be a teacher, they have all the answers, they know exactly how everything is supposed to be done, like all the rules and the good manners, and no, we're not going to change a little bit of that, not at all, and just we're not going to stray from that formula at all. We could be a bit seen as control freaks, just very cold people who aren't really expressive, people who aren't really like they don't feel anything. Keep in mind, and I say it looks like they don't feel anything because very likely they do, but they may not really know how to communicate it with you, or not communicate it in a way that you would want them to. Anyway, and sometimes it actually is a problem for them. They might be very repressed, very likely because of problems, because of things that may have happened to them when they were younger, and this caused them to just hold on to feelings a little bit more and just stuff things down. People maybe just a little insecure, and just they could kind of drive you nuts by these insecurities and just the nerves. Or they may just like some sort of unconscious fear of intimacy, or just don't really like intimacy. And when you side a lot with Venus, I know that because I'm very Venusian, it can feel like you could become so obsessed with Venus and wanting Venus expression from other partners and people on the outside that You might just want more of people than you could expect, not usually. This is not a bad thing. Of course, this is just what it is. Just now, it might help to occasionally think in mind, like if you meet a lot of people who are so cold and just so controlling, or seem really repressed, that maybe, and unexpressive, that maybe like it might help to just think like, okay, so then how do I want them to express this? Why is this such a problem for me that they are so cold and so kind of low emotion? And so that was the example for Venus in hard aspect to Saturn. Of course, this also goes for other hard aspects of Venus, and you may find that you also kind of unconsciously act a little bit more like this planet. For instance, Mars in hard aspect to Venus will make your Venus a lot more energetic, a lot more fiery, a lot more direct. So even diplomatic, cute little Libra will turn into a much more feisty Libra. Taurus will have a bit of an easier temper. They're not usually known for being very laid back, for being very good at keeping their anger at bay, but with Mars in conjunction to Venus in Taurus, they may have a little more of a problem with that. But of course, it's possible, it's not that it will happen. It's possible, it could happen. And so this is a big thing about Venus and attracting. This is especially very big on if you have a conjunction to your Venus, because these are two energies that will merge together and will both express each other at the same time. They just go hand in hand, their energies. So that is the first clue. For me, point number 2 is when you look at the second house. Now, this sounds not very interesting, a bit weird, like second house, like the money and stuff. What does it have to do with attracting? It is about money, but there's more. The second house is also about what you value, about things that are just important to you, and it's just your self-esteem, again, or your lack of self-esteem. It's the image you have of yourself, of things that you need to get by, and especially